Today, we're digging into one of the most effective planning systems ever designed, the U.S. Army's 8-Step Training Model. Now, this is a system that's been perfected for achieving excellence when the stakes are incredibly high. But here's the thing, this isn't just for soldiers. It's a battle-tested blueprint that you can apply to pretty much any project, whether you're launching a new product or organizing a huge event.
Okay, so let's start with a big question. We've all been there, right? You have a brilliant idea, a super detailed plan, but somewhere between the whiteboard and the real world, it just falls apart. That space between a great idea and actually getting it done, we call that the execution gap. And in high-stakes situations, you just can't afford to have that gap.
So, to get rid of that gap, the Army created a system. You can think of it as the ultimate master checklist for success. It really doesn't matter what you're doing. This model gives you a step-by-step way to make sure every single detail is covered.
This flowchart right here, this is our roadmap for this explainer. It's a super logical framework that takes you all the way from preparation to action and then to refinement. We're going to walk through this entire map, step by step, and show you how every piece connects to build a plan that's pretty much flawless. So let's get into it with the prep phase. These are the first 4 steps, and honestly, this is where most projects fail before they even start. A solid foundation is everything. It's just like building a house, right? If the foundation is bad, I don't care how nice the rest of it looks, it's going to have problems. Get this part right, and everything else just falls into place.
All right, step 1, plan. This is where you define clear, measurable goals. You got to know what success actually looks like. It's also where you identify all the resources you're going to need, set a realistic timeline, and, this is huge, do a risk assessment to figure out what might go wrong before it does.
I like to think of this as planning a huge family road trip. You wouldn't just pile everyone in the car and start driving, would you? Of course not. You'd pick a destination, that's the what. You'd figure out who's going, that's the who. And you'd definitely check the oil and tires before hitting the highway, right? That's your risk assessment. Answering these questions up front is your map and your maintenance check, all in one.
Okay, next up is step 2, train and certify leaders. This is a big one. It makes sure that your trainers, your team leads, are genuine experts in the subject. They have to prove they can do the task perfectly themselves before they're allowed to teach anyone else.
See? This step is the secret sauce. You can't coach a play you don't know yourself. It's that simple. If the coaches don't have the playbook memorized, the team has absolutely zero confidence in them. This step guarantees that your leaders are the experts, and that builds trust and clarity right from the top.
Step 3 is recon the site, and this means exactly what it sounds like. Leaders physically go to the location where the training will happen. The whole point is to make sure it's actually suitable and to find any potential problems before the rest of the team even shows up.
Think of a great chef inspecting a new kitchen before a massive event. They're going to check the ovens, make sure there's enough room to work, and know exactly where the emergency exits are. This step is all about making sure your environment is set up for success, not for surprises.
And the final prep step is to issue the order. This is just a clear, simple directive, and it's best if it's written, that spells out who's doing what, the timelines, and the exact standards for success. This way, everybody is on the same page and knows exactly what's expected of them. No confusion.
Okay, so now that our foundation is rock solid, it's time to shift gears into the action phase. This is where we take all that careful planning and turn it into real, tangible skill. Preparation meets performance.
And we kick off the action phase with step 5, rehearse. Rehearsals are so important for making sure everyone is synchronized and that the plan is actually solid. This is your chance to spot and fix any issues before they become real problems.
This is basically a full dress rehearsal before opening night of a big show. You run through everything to iron out the kinks, make sure all the props are working, and check that every actor knows their lines. This is where you perfect the plan when the stakes are low so you can nail it when they're high.
And that brings us to step 6, execute. It's game day, time to do the thing. The training happens and everyone performs the tasks they've been preparing for. The entire focus is on hitting those standards we set way back in the planning phase.
But as soon as the execution is over, we move immediately to step 7, the after-action review, or AAR. This is a really structured conversation where everyone involved, from the newest participant to the top leader, gets to share their feedback on what actually happened. The AAR is built around these 3 simple but incredibly powerful questions, and this is a total no-ego zone. The goal isn't to point fingers or assign blame. It's about finding the truth so the whole team can get better. It's basically an engine for constant improvement.
Which brings us perfectly to our final step, retrain. The job isn't done until the standard is met, so any tasks that weren't performed correctly have to be practiced again. The whole idea is to make sure every single person on the team is proficient before you call it a day.
So now that we've broken down all 8 steps, let's talk about how this applies to, well, you. This isn't just a military thing. It's a universal playbook for getting things done right.
Okay, let's translate this. Let's say you're launching a new product. Plan training. That's just your project brief. Train leaders. That's making sure your team leads are totally up to speed. Recon the site is your market research. Issue the order. That's your big kickoff meeting. You rehearse with a final walkthrough, you execute the launch, you hold a post-mortem meeting, and then you iterate based on feedback. See? It's the exact same logic.
At its core, the 8-step model is just a framework for achieving excellence, especially when you're under pressure. It gives you a clear, proven path to turn your great ideas into a successful reality.
And remember, this is not about being rigid just for the sake of it. It's about having a smart, systematic approach that gives you a relentless focus on preparation, on getting honest feedback, and on actually mastering your craft. That's what gets any team ready for the real world.
So, we'll leave you with this thought. Now that you have the blueprint, what's the first project you're going to build with it?